Studies worldwide have shown that the fragile mental health of our teenagers today is linked to the rise in social media. A Canadian study, which was recently released, said that high school students who spend 2 hours or more on social media a day reported higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Recently, the New York Times also released an article where the Silicon Valley executives themselves are desperately worried about the impact of screen time on children, and particularly the developing brains of our kids. It's ironic that our teens today are more connected than ever, and yet even more isolated. You may have hundreds of followers on Facebook or Instagram, but that doesn't mean that you're any less lonely. A UK study recently said that the youth are 3 times more likely to experience lonelyhood than the elderly. We're also not watching TV as much anymore as a family. So our teenagers are going into their rooms with their devices, watching their shows alone with their headphones on. So you can see how this can contribute to a sense of loneliness even within our own family. The term screen ages is not lost on us. I think it's an important point for me to mention here that our expat and our third culture kids can be more drawn to the online world than others. They can gain their sense of community from the digital world, not from the real world. So as parents of expat teenagers, let's pay careful attention to this. We also need to bear in mind that this can be a positive. They can stay in touch with their friends all over the world much more easily. However, this constant link to other teenagers means that our kids are constantly exposed and continuously on show, whether by choice, their own posts, or not, being tagged by others. Actually, our teens don't have a quiet place anymore to go and recharge after school anymore. Their friends and their enemies follow them everywhere, in the bedroom, at the dining room table, even into the bathroom. They are getting their self-esteem from how many likes their Instagram posts are given. And their self-worth is molded and defined by images. And I think this is very important for us to bear in mind, by images, not by people. And so, of course, the possibility for online harassment becomes so much more real as they are one step removed from the damage that they may be doing. So what are we going to do about this? As parents of teenagers, there are things that you can do. Number 1, try not to give smartphones to anyone younger than 13. 11, for sure not. 13, ideally. You have the right to know all the passwords to your teenagers' devices. I'm not saying that means you can go and snoop and spy on your teenager, but they need to know that you have the right to access their accounts in front of them if you're concerned about anything that's going on. You can consider apps such as TeenSafe or putting up firewalls in your home, but more importantly than that is have the conversation with your kids about what they're putting on social media and let them come to you if they're worried about what's being put on about them. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, they all have a minimum age requirement of 13 years old. If you let your child join younger than this, you need to have a very, very careful conversation with them around the possible dangers of these devices. Sexting is a big issue. This is a hard conversation for you to have with your kids, but please do it. There are too many stories of a photograph of a topless teen ending up in the wrong hands and going viral. The worst case scenario, if it ends up in the authorities, your child can be prosecuted for the dissemination of child pornography. Even if that doesn't happen, it's very hard to retrieve that photograph again once it's out in cyberspace. Remove screens from your teenage child's rooms in the evenings and really enforce screen-free time every single day. As parents of a teen, model good digital behavior as well. Don't have screens at the dining room table. I don't care if they're upside down. And model good Facebooking behavior as well to them. If your child are of university age, please make sure that their social media pages are squeaky clean. Last year, Harvard withdrew the offers to 10 students after checking their Facebook pages and coming across inappropriate content. So, digital age, screens, social media, it's here to stay. But I get worried by the rhetoric that we are, as parents, helpless and hopeless and there's nothing we can do about this, as if it's an epidemic. We are not. It is up to us to be involved, and if we sit back and allow our children to make mistakes without their knowledge about the dangers of social media, we are also complicit in allowing this to continue. So despite your teen's protestations, you have the right to give guidance to your teen. If you need additional help with this, please reach out to us here at Alliance.